guys, it's Christy here from the Stamp Cycle and welcome to another video for my YouTube and blog. Today we're going to be making a birthday card for the Mojo Monday Sketch Challenge. I'm using the Birthday Fiesta stamp set and coordinating dies to create this card. So first we're going to create our own pattern paper or designer series paper by using several of the images from the stamp set. I'm going to be using the cactus and then the two individual flower images from the stamp set. This is a photopolymer stamp set, and photopolymer stamps do not have the built-in cushion that cling mount stamps do. So you will see in a minute in this video, I do put down a stamp pad to give me that cushion that normal cling mount stamps do, and this helps to give you a very crisp, clean image when you stamp using photopolymer stamp sets. You don't have to use this stamp pad, but I do find I get a better crisp stamped image when I do use it when I have these photopolymer stamps out. So I'm going to just start stamping this cactus using the new in color. This is Emerald Envy from Stampin' Up. And I'm going to stamp these cactuses in a random triangular pattern across this entire sheet of, this is 4.5 by 5.5, 4.25 by 5.5 piece of Whisper White cardstock. And I'm just stamping these cactuses all over this background in a triangular fashion, and then I'm going to fill in with those smaller flower images. You want to start with your largest image first when you're doing a background like this, because you can't go back in to fill in with larger images, but you can always add smaller ones. So now I'm going in with some Mellow Mumbo, and I'm going to fill in with with the bigger of the two flowers that I picked from the stamp set. And I'm just stamping this flower randomly all over the background. And now I'm going to come in with the smallest flower that I have, and I'm going to stamp that all over, filling in all the empty open spaces with that crushed curry ink. So now that we have our background all stamped, it's time to move along and stamp the llama from the stamp set. This is the most adorable stamp. When I saw this in the catalog, I knew I had to have this stamp set just for that llama. So I'm going to stamp that llama image using soft suede ink. Again, I'm stamping onto some Whisper White cardstock. This is not the thick Whisper White, this is just the normal 80 pound. And then we're going to cut this llama out using the coordinating dies that come with this set. I'm going to also stamp the pattern on the little blanket of the llama there, and I'm using the Mellow Mumbo ink to do that. That just adds some additional pattern and color to this llama. So here I have the coordinating dies, and I'm just going to go over to my Big Shot and cut out that llama using that coordinating dies. And my camera turned off while I was doing this, but this is one of the paper doilies, and I just took that Emerald Envy ink pad and just smushed it down on top of this doily to make the doily be Emerald Envy color instead of the white color that it comes with. So now I've got these retired circle framelits from Stampin' Up, and I'm just going to figure out which circle die of this stack will fit perfectly in the very center of this doily that I've colored here with the Emerald Envy ink. And we're going to take that die and just cut out a piece of Mellow Mumbo cardstock. And then we're going to bring that Mellow Mumbo circle there. It fits perfectly in the center of that doily. I didn't like how stark or how bright the pink was against that Emerald Envy doily. So I'm just going to take a sponge and ink that up with a little bit of that Emerald Envy ink and just sponge around all the edges of this circle die to kind of soften that Mellow Mumbo color against the Emerald Envy. So now I have a piece of Emerald Envy cardstock. This is a A2 top folding card base, and the final dimensions will be 4.25 by 5.5. And I'm just gonna lay out kind of how I want my layout to be. I took that pattern piece that we made and I cut that down to slightly smaller than the A2 card base. And now I'm gonna work on my sentiment. I have a piece of vellum here, and I'm just going to treat that with my embossing buddy so that we don't get any stray embossing powder on this, because I will be embossing it. That sentiment says Fiesta like there's no mañana, which is really cute, but I just wanted the Fiesta stamp. So I masked off the pieces that I didn't want to stamp with that Versamark ink, just using a piece of masking tape. And now I'm just going to cover that stamp that I stamped in Versamark with some copper embossing powder, and then I'll just heat set that with my heat tool. So when using vellum in heat, remember vellum warps very easy and burns, so you don't want to keep your heat tool on there for very long. So moving on to the rest of the card here, I just adhered that Mellow Mumbo circle to the center of the doily using my snail adhesive, and now I'm just going to glue that whole piece to the front of the card in the very middle using some just Tombow multi-purpose glue. And I scored each edge of that vellum so that I could fold it to the back and I wouldn't have to worry about using adhesive on the front. Adhesive shows through vellum very easily. So by making my piece of vellum long and adhering it to the back using some Scotch tape, I don't have to worry about any adhesive showing through in the front. So now I'll just use some more of that Tombow multi-glue to adhere that whole card piece to the front. And I'm just going to use some dimensionals to pop up this llama, kind of offsetting it from the sentiment. And that will finish this birthday card. I just love that llama. I think it's super cute. I needed to put together a super quick card for a friend, so I thought this would be the perfect stamp set to do that with. And I did finish this card off by adding just a little bit of Wink of Stella to that blanket on the llama, just to give it a little bit of shine and some more interest on the card. So that finishes it up. So thanks for joining me today, and I will check you guys on the next video. Bye!